Guy Channel. The Car Guy Channel. My name is Mike Hennessy. This show is all about cars and all four car guys. Get yourself a cold beer. Get yourself a cold beer, guys, because our show is... We are smoking! I'm Mike Hennessy, and you're watching the Car Guy Channel. I have an auto repair shop. I've been in the business for over 30 years. You name it, we got it, we built it, we've done it, we do it. We love this car stuff, and I hope you guys do too. We're gonna have a lot of fun, got a lot of stuff cooking, so just stay tuned. Welcome to the Car Guy Channel, guys and gals. We got a fantastic show because once a year we're back at History Park for antique autos. This year right here is the year of the Packard, and I was really excited about it because Packard's one of my most favorite cars out there. I think they're spectacular in the year they were built, the story and the history. You got to look a lot of this stuff here up. It should be in high schools of talking about automotive stuff. It's very, very, very cool, really educational, let alone if you're a car guy and car gal, you're going to have a blast over History Park. And we're going to go ahead and cover a little bit of a Hot San Jose Nights. Hot San Jose Nights had all kinds of things happening this year. One of the very, very neat things was a Black Hawk helicopter. This thing came in, everybody stopped. We had over 10, maybe 15,000 people at one time just stopping, looking up in the air to see this helicopter land because you can hear it about a mile away. It was spectacular. We do want to apologize for a lot of the lines were coming in from Capitol Expressway into Reed Hillview Airport. They were huge. We had 10, 15, 16,000 people already there. Parking was a little bit of a problem. We are going to work on that every year, but I'm kind of apologizing in a very nice way for a very, very successful show. We had 100 classic cars out there, and it looked just great. Some of the awards we handed out, special award was to my good friend, Dave Cortese. Dave did a fantastic job on supporting Hot San Jose Nights every year, and we really want to make sure he gets a big thank you and support Dave. So, a couple things you don't do. Don't touch that dial. Don't get out of that chair. Get yourself a cold one. Enjoy the show. Young man, Mike Hennessy, how you doing?
Frank Giordano.
Hey, Frank, how are you? I've seen your car before. This is a 1930 Packard, and you had a story that this car was gifted to you somehow, or?
Yes, by the last surviving heir of the family that bought it.
And they bought it from a Packard dealer. Believe it or not, Packard dealer was here in San Jose, and it was on the Alameda, right?
Yeah, 865 the Alameda, near Alameda and Race.
You remember the address to the dealership?
Yes, the building's still there, and the exterior is like it was back then.
I'll be darned. Now, about this car here, I mean, Packard, you know, they were known to be sold really to the elite, kind of elite people. Now, who was the previous owner of this car?
The person that bought the car was Henry Lester, and he was a local farmer. Had a lot of prune orchards.
So, prune orchard, San Jose guy walks into a dealership. Now, this car is in 1930. Now, in 1930, the check he had to write for a car was how much?
For this car, it was $5,481.
Back in 1930, you could buy one or two houses for that money. Is that correct?
Yes.
Easily.
Yes.
Easily. Now, anything special about this car as far as the way it runs and drives? Any low miles on it? Because the patina is just fantastic on the car because this is original. And I always say in the show all the time, a car is only original once. Has you done any modifications on it? Any rechrome?
Just the plating was bad. It was in a barn-type garage, and the plating was needed to be redone. The engine was frozen. It had to be rebuilt. But most of the rest of the stuff was intact. The seats have been recovered because of the rodents, but the door panels and everything else are original. And it's a good runner now.
And the neat thing is, you know, guys and gals, I am a sticker for this on my own personal collection, on cars I see everywhere. You got some pretty cool documentation. You got sellers, buyers' paperwork, and all sorts of stuff in this car?
Yes, I have the original bill of sale. I have a stack of dealer service sheets going back to when the car was new. The first service was at 501 miles.
Now, you're telling me, now he bought this car for himself or for his wife?
He bought it for his wife.
Now, you drive this car, right?
Yes.
Now, I'm telling you guys and gals, if you ever get the moment or the opportunity to maybe drive one, Her arms must look like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Well, after driving a while, yes.
And I can see it's working pretty good on you, too. Thanks, Frank, for showing us your car.
Thank
Let's go around this car still, because I'm telling you, car's only original once, as I've always said. The patina and the paint. And it looks like this car here might have been maybe a dark blue or so, and the way it's kind of faded. I'm really, really pleased. And I think Frank was very smart not to go into the full, complete restoration stuff on the car. He took care of things that needed to be kind of done, like some rechroming, replating here and there on it. And the hood ornaments, absolutely spectacular. I think between Packard and Pierce Arrow are two of my most famous favorite hood ornaments, but there's so many out there. Ford had the one of the quail, and those are very rare. We'll talk about those later on. But after I see a car like this, was so exciting coming to the event that has strictly catered to Packard. And I'm really glad they did, because you get an example like this, that's what makes this show here spectacular. I was so excited when History Park decided to select the car, the Packard, to be their featured automobile. And Packard has so much to do with the beginning time of automobiles. That actually started in 1899 and went all the way up to 1903. They made a fantastic car. They made about 400 of these things. And I'm telling you, they're absolutely, and I mean spectacular. James Packard was the person who really designed it and started out. His brother William kind of came on board, and they became partners, and they made Packard a company and named it Packard in 1903 all the way up until in the 50s. This is when actually Packard sold to Studebaker, went a little bit into the 60s, and then of course the name did drop off. But in the early years, Packard was sold to the elite. You had to have money to buy a Packard, and they basically catered after that crowd for the Cadillac and the Rolls-Royce, Merrimon, and there was all sorts of vehicles that came on the market that were very, very pricey, but that's where they went for. Believe it or not, a car in those years sold for $2,500, all the way up until coming into the 30s. Cars were $5,000 and $6,000, $7,000 from a Packard. That can be equivalent to a home. A home back then was $2,000. Gives you an idea about the price of these cars. So most of the elite got into the Packard. And you see some fantastic automobiles like these. We'll talk about some of the hood ornaments, but let's go check out some of the cars. I just had to give a little bit of history just to talk about Packard a little bit. And I was hoping that one of the famous Packards I've never seen in my life, ever out and about, was the one from Back in the Future that was driven. That car is really pretty cool. I don't know, hope we can go ahead and find one of those here today. Really kind of cool to see the Swan style hood ornament. But let's go check a few cars out. Like most car manufacturers, the cars had to change a little bit determining on the years, the makes, the models, and so on. But not all the time you really see a Woody. Now, there's only 243 Woody wagons ever built in 1940. They claim there's only 6 in existence that are out there. Now, this car here happened to be a barn find, and I love the barn find stuff. You know, we buy them. I try to get them in my collection all over the area. And it's funny, these things are just, they pop up all of a sudden now and then. But this happened to pop up in the early 70s to the buyer, and so the guy went in and built the car and did a nice restoration on this piece. And I think they did a great job all the way around, because figure, if there's only 243 of these built, I know restoration. I know what it takes to get parts. Sometimes you don't get them, you got to manufacture them. And I'm telling you, everything else looks really good around this car. Check this out for being a Woody. I like it a lot. 1940 Packard Woody. It was really kind of neat about the display of the Packards they have here are the years. We're looking at a couple different models of the year 1940. We see a Woody here, we see a sedan, and of course we see this four-door sedan here, and all of them might have a different hood ornament. Now there's kind of a great story behind them, and the nickname of this was the gal chasing the donut, but that's not really what it is. And if my wife heard that, she'd probably get a kick out. She loves donuts. But this right here is the Goddess of Speed, and that was designed back in the early 30s on these cars to go ahead and get put on, and they're just synonymous with Packard. They're just beautiful, and there's a few hood ornaments out there I really like, and this happens to be one of them. And then of course they have the plastic wing that's on the back here that goes in. They sell those reproduced. They can go on because they do yellow, they do crack with an age because it's plastic. But the Packard grill is just long and synonymous. The headlights are set up, and this is a fine example of a 1940 automobile. What I think is kind of neat, they do got seat belts. They keep this car here kind of safe. I'm not sure what the skeleton in the back seat is, but still we'll get a picture of that and show it to you. Check it out. know, again, talking about the year 1940. 1940 for Packard, when they lined up quite a few in a row of the same year, it gives you a great idea what the different models were like at a showroom floor, if you can believe how they would have them set up. This happens to be my favorite car here of the Packard line, probably because it's a drop top. I love convertibles, and this just means a lot to me. The color is just brilliant. Looks like the correct color on the car. It has a good hard lacquer type shine that it has. All the glass on the car is just great. Headlights, these have been replaced obviously because it's a different type of lens, but more for usability. And that tells me that they use the car and they drive the car, and the way the lines are on this, but being a drop top. Now I know Estelle went through some of the interiors of a lot of the cars. You notice the dash. Now the dash is actually a steel dash. It's not wood. It has the wood type grain how it's done. And those artists that actually worked at the manufacturers that built the dashes for these cars, there's a special way to apply it and a special way to put it on and how it dries and whatnot. No two dashes are the same because that's the artwork of the car. All Packards in all these years, make, model, whatever color it was, all has the same color dash and kind of a dark brownish tan color tone for the inside of the car. They're all done that way. Lincoln Continental did the same thing with kind of a burgundy color. Well, Packard did it really in this year here with a kind of a brownish color. It looks fantastic. In this car here, there's a little thing on the dash I think Estelle's going to get a big kick out of. We're not going to call it air conditioning. It's a little tiny Packard fan. Neat option by the steering column. Really makes this car cool. Let's check out a few more things and I'll go over some more stuff on this convertible. It's kind of cool. Every time I walk by one of these Packards, I go, this is my favorite car, this is my favorite car. They're all my favorite cars. This right here, I would have to say, is one of the best well-restored cars here. I'm still not done with them yet, but I'm telling you, from what I'm seeing, this car is spectacular. What is really unique and very, very, very cool is the dual mounts for the spare tires. There's two of them back here. Now I got to remember, back then people did travel when they had a car of this caliber. Now this 1927, this car was brand new in 1927, and it sold for $2,590. That's huge money back in the 20s, believe it or not. Huge money. The owner had the car for about 2 years, and then he went ahead and sold it to his daughter for $1. And the car kind of went through some family stuff, and the war was coming in, and things changed, and the automobile manufacturers and people all through the whole world, the war did change a lot. So I really encourage people that do get into the collector car business and world and the hobby of it. This is such a history. I think this history should be done in a classroom at school to learn all about the automotive world, how it changed the country. It's the evolution of time was transportation. And this car here is just spectacular. The pinstriping on it is just absolutely outstanding on the body with this color and of course this light kind of a caramel style pinstriping with the black fenders and the leather interior. I think it's an excellent example of a 1927 Roadster. Let's check it out. What an option to have into a car, especially if you're a hobbyist. I'm a racquetball player, not a golfer, but if I was a golfer, I'd want this car here. The store right here is open. It was originally designed strictly for golf clubs. So you could tell it really was for the elite people, movie stars, bankers, investment folks. I mean, we're talking about people that actually, had a place in society of value of money. And this right here is for the golf plug clubs, and then right here is the step to get into the back. They vinyl it up here to make something you don't get no scratches. I don't think Packard cut any corners when they built a car, but for that kind of money they couldn't have to anyway. But I'll tell you, they got a spectacular automobile here. And I mentioned earlier about the craftsmanship of the dashes and the way these things here were done. Now, cars had their one man did a certain job with a team of people and whatnot. The steering wheel that Estelle's focusing on here, this right here is all handmade wood. It's a real strong wood on the car. It's a walnut, some are walnut style design of the wood, makes it very, very hard. And that's what the steering wheels were made out of. So this right here was made out of a piece of wood by a craftsman who milled it, cut it, shaped it, glued what they had to glue and put it together, and I'm just telling you, they're absolutely a work of art. It's just beautiful. And again, the craftsmanship, this right here on the wing window, some people called them fly windows, vent windows, but this right here was mostly a windbreaker for the driver in the car. Remember, they don't have roll-up windows like the cars came into when they're coming into the late 20s and early 30s. This right here is all hand etched. You can just feel it in the back. What craftsmanship on this car. It's just absolutely spectacular. I love it. And you can see some of the items on the car you would think are kind of chrome plated and they look a little bit kind of the off color. It's because those parts are all nickel plated. It'll last forever. This hood ornament to me is probably my most favorite one here. I know I've been picking on hood ornaments all day, but it does have the Goddess of Speed, and of course it's attached to the top of this is a thermometer. That basically is the temperature of the motor. The little lever is the flipper. You flip that forward, that comes up in the air, and that's actually how I'd fill water and add water to keep the system kind of cool. But that is a very unique and very original and very rare hood ornament for this car. It's just spectacular. And I got my buddy Mark Furlong over here, and he runs the whole store here in Santa Cruz. Correct, Mark?
Yes, I do.
Now, Mark handles all my parts, all my stuff, all my weird stuff, the weird crap, anything weird, we call you.
Yes.
So we call him on all the weird stuff. This store's over in Santa Cruz, and you got five stores, right?
Yes, we do.
Now, the reason why I'm having Mark on the show is for more than one reason. I always say more than two reasons, but we got a lot of reasons why. He's got a crew. You guys been meeting his crew throughout all the shows and all the stores and stuff. I asked him a question earlier, and I'm going to change it around. How do you hire the help you got?
When they walk in, if I like the way they look and the way they talk, then I'll give them a try.
Good. All your guys have been with you for years.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I like to keep them around as long as possible.
Now, how long have you been in the parts business?
24 years.
24 years? Jeez. That's a long time.
Yeah.
So you better know what the hell you're doing.
Well, I hope so. Not always, but I always try.
You guys are part techs besides part guys. So when you hire a guy, he's a car guy. He knows what he's doing. He knows parts. He knows one thing. He knows another thing. With all the stuff you guys got, you got a versatility of car guys.
Very much so.
You got guys. He's got a street rod guy, flathead guy, wholesale guy, and all your guys are legitimate bone car guys, correct?
Absolutely.
Let's rock and roll. Let's get our parts going, buddy.
Okay.
Good. In the Packard line, close to a limo, was this particular model of a car. When you get to the back seats of it, you see jump seats. Jump seats kind of fold to the front seat of the car so the passengers can ride in the very, very far rear. Again, this car right here has the headlights on it that are just spectacular and really original to Packard. And you can see the way they're kind of beveled here at about a 20-degree angle on the front of them. And so it would actually take the light and it will pull the light this direction and it'll pull the light that direction 4 different ways because you got 2 headlights on the right and the left. Again, the synonymous Goddess of Speed hood ornament on the car. The color is kind of a very, very soft dove gray color. Beautiful pinstriping on it. This is a phenomenal automobile. These are full steel wheels on the car, which makes it very safe and makes a really good driver. Some had the early model had the wire wheels. This model does not have that. I think what makes these cars ride smooth is because of the type of rims that it has. But check out the back seating of this car here, guys and gals. That's the back seat of a car. Now this thing is called Class. 1935 Packard Phaeton. What a beautiful car. I mean, you just got to picture yourself back in these years when you see these on the road. Such a long hood on the car, and of course the real shorty kind of, I call it like the gangster style windshield. Some people call them like a Duval windshield for some of the custom guys out there, but a huge, beautiful motor inside here. This car here does have the wire wheels. Now these are special wire wheels done for Packard when they put them on them. This is a huge car, big car, smooth as silk, and just a gorgeous automobile. And this right here actually has a divider back window in the back for the riders in the car. The way the window door opens up and sits back there, you got to get a shot of this. You got to see it. This right here was for the elite of the elite. Well, the good thing about this show, there's a lot of cars you don't see every day, and in Auburn, 1933 is something you don't see probably anywhere. Auburn is probably one of the most iconic automobiles for styling and taste and design. And I think Estelle can get the caption, the two tones of the green on here. They take the fenders, and these fenders are actually bent in position, and the way it's styled and shaped. And Auburn is a phenomenal automobile. And I mean, they have an ACD show back in Auburn, Indiana every year. So it'd be Auburn, Cord, and Duesenberg. One time they all merged together and became one of the elite car companies, a lot like what the Packard would do. That's the type of caliber of people that bought these cars here were Auburn, Cord, Duesenberg, Packard, Cadillac. The elite of the elite would buy these. All the movie stars, bankers, and all the pros from everywhere would get a type of car like this. And it's just the way the lines were, and some people always try to reproduce them. And a reproduced car was always the Auburn Speedster that had the pipes coming out the side of the fenders. Those are production cars you see on the road. Very seldom see some of the originals. Cord had a model also that did the same thing, and they made a reproduction of that. But you really can't beat the best of best. And here at the show, you see vehicles like this. The way they color the wheels is kind of an off yellow on there, and it's just fantastic with the two-tone grain, the chrome. Excellent. At the event, there's really more to this show than just automobiles. There's personalities, there's people, there's gorgeous ladies, and there's mechanics. These folks here just won the award for being the best dressed for the event. And your name is?
Chico Ramirez.
And you're the mechanic, right, Chico?
Yes, sir.
So you're the mechanic for?
Angelina Aguilar.
She's a mechanic for Angela, and the mechanic for?
John Fornbacher.
Hey, John, how you doing? Congratulations on winning for the best dress. It's kind of cool. That's really cool. I have never won best dressed in my entire life. I even wore shoulder pads one year. I didn't get no best dress for that at all. I don't know how this goes. And then what kind of car did you guys bring?
This is a 1938 Dodge Brothers D8 Business Coupe.
Very cool. Do you drive it much?
Sometimes.
Yeah, sure. How's your arms? You got big arms? Yeah. Oh, I'm telling you. We were looking at the Packards earlier. The steering wheels are about that big around. And man, that's why when Mom whacked you upside the head and you felt it, you know what happened. She's been driving the car around. Well, congratulations, you guys. We're going to walk around the show and take a look at a lot of cars. You're in pretty good company. A good buddy of mine, Gene, is just behind you. Keep dressed well.
Great.
Finally, we get the best dressed on the Car Guy channel. It doesn't happen too often. See you in a bit. Gene, how you doing, bud?
I'm good, Mike. How are you doing?
I'm doing excellent. And is this your first time at History Park Show?
This is the first time for this show, yes.
Now, I have been to Gene's house. His wife puts a beautiful spread on every year. We should invite everybody from the Car Guy channel, but she's going to kill me if I do that. But she puts she puts a great spread on for a lot of people in their club and their group. Gene built a beautiful facility, and it's just fantastic.
Well, we got 4,300 square foot of garage, and it's all full.
It's all full. So I see Gene over at Barrett Jackson every year, and once in a while we might get a cocktail. Is that correct, Gene?
We've had a couple.
Yeah, we've had a couple.
Maybe more than a couple.
And the problem is we bought a few cars. Maybe we should either buy cars and then not drink, or drink and then buy cars. I don't know how that works.
I don't know, but I got a Crown Vic that I had to take back again because I had one too many.
That does happen. Hey, tell me a little bit about what you bought.
Well, this is a 41 Ford. Very nice car. Complete frame-off restoration. I bought it at Reno at Hot August Nights.
Oh, really? Good.
It came through the auction there, and I just fell in love with it, and there it is.
Well, your taste, you're probably why you and I get along pretty good, because you and I have what I call the wide spectrum of taste. You're a T-Bird guy, which I used to do Corvettes, but
sure. You
got a Corvette now, and you got you got a Firebird, you got 55 Chevys, you got this car here, so you got pretty wide variety of stuff.
I do. I have 4 Corvettes, about 8 T-Birds, including the 66. I have a 57 Ford Retract now.
Oh, really? Very cool.
And a 59 Cadillac.
Man, glutton for punishment. We just worked on one for a client. Turned out just beautiful. But hey, instead of going into that, proud to have your car on my show. We're going to look it on over. And the neat thing is, it's a drop top.
It's a drop.
It's a drop top. Like most Ford products back in the earlier years before the year 1955, all Ford products were 6-volt systems. Now, besides being 6-volt, not to complicate things anymore, they were a positive ground system. Now, positive ground, the current actually operates in a different fashion. They thought that it was really a better way to go ahead and conduct the armature for the brushes. They tried it for many years. Ford had his own way of doing business, his own way of doing things. He did not want to change that. There's a few manufacturers that did that, and they tried to change it immediately as soon as they really could. But when 1955 rolled around, overhead valve engines came in, 12-volt batteries, negative ground. Cars started different, a little more safer going somewhere, but this is how they were, and people that restore this car here, like the one Gene has, they keep these on the road because they use them and not abuse them. Now remember, they don't run on leaded fuel, they run on unleaded fuel. So there's going to be a different spark plug. You really should have sodium-filled valves. I'm sure a restoration would have done that. 21-bolt head, he's going to get that type of stuff. But these are spectacular cars, and they're still drivable for today on the road. Check out under the hood. I hope you enjoyed the show and you got a lot of Packard history this time. I've owned a few Packards in my lifetime, so I kind of knew a little bit about what I was getting myself into because I do enjoy this stuff. And there's a lot of cool stuff, and they do a nice job, and I want to thank everybody at History Park for being very good hosts to Estelle and myself to cover this event and to cover it from bumper to bumper. A lot of fantastic cars. We can't cover them all because there's only a half hour in the show, but we do kind of cover all we can. I want to say one thing. We'll see you guys next week. God bless you. And keep out there doing the car world.